when we had the county legislators that came in and Simma didn't make it. Remember, AJ?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I spoke to Simma several times, and she really apologized. What happened was that her scheduler scheduled her on for 2 days later, and she was not aware of it. And she would have made it had she had known. So I just want to say that on behalf of Simma that she apologizes for not being here.
No doubt. And I ain't take it personal. I just said what I said, though. I mean, it is true. You know, when you're going through, sometimes you look at those.
Yes, she heard what you said.
Though you look at those who show up and who don't show up. I mean, you know, she's still good people. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got no beef with her. Nothing, you know, I wish her well in the race.
Okay, cool.
No doubt, no doubt. So yes, real quick. So yesterday was Rappercon. Rappercon presents DJ Con, the Mount Vernon Remix Part 2. Yo, this was like some real back in the day.
Sponsored by Andre Wallace.
Yes, and Black Westchester and several other sponsors. Yo, this is like for my old adult hip-hop heads, the over 30 heads, or maybe even over 40 heads, y'all can relate. They had the battle with the sound systems, yo. Down one side, they had Tony Crush, the Cold Crush Brothers system. And down the other side, they had the legendary Collins Brothers, Mount Vernon Legends. The Collins Brothers had ridiculous speakers. Tony didn't have as many speakers, but that's Tony Crush. The speakers was louder and clearer. And on his side, on the wheel of steel, not only did Tony touch the tables, but the legendary Grand Wizard Theodore was there, and he touched the tables. And I can't think of the other DJ, but it's one of Herc's DJs, one of the Herculoids. He touched the tables, and it was just amazing. Yo, shout out, seeing my man Mr. Complex. He held it down. He used to do his radio promotions, the Groove Attack and all that, and some of his earlier stuff. It was like a family reunion. I was on the radio panel. Shout out to my man Kwame. Kwame, WHCR, City College Radio, I think Equilibrium Radio, the adult hip-hop show. Dope show. I love going there. Adult conversations, classic hip-hop, none of that new stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to be an official hip-hop head to be on that show. Like, you know.
Oh.
Shout out to Kwame. Kwame was there. Shout out to everybody who came through.
You was on the panel, no?
The radio panel with Kwame.
Yeah.
The radio panel.
Okay.
I'm saying shout out to him. He moderated, and shout out to the rest of the guests that was there. And I don't have their names in front of them, but the people that was on the panel with me, shout out. One of them was from Sway in the Morning, the satellite radio show, Sirius satellite radio show. Who else they had there? A lot of people touched the mic. Yo, Andre's son got a little group, did a little new school hip hop, did a little thing.
Oh, that's cute.
Rocked a little something, you know what I mean? They did a little something. Shout to Lil Dre. That's not his name, but shout to Lil Dre. Looking like his dad, only taller. You know what I'm saying? Word up. Who else was there? Yo, everybody gave love. The Black Westchester took their flicks with the Black Westchester. Shout out to my man Andre Leroy Davis. Y'all would know him from The Last Word. Anybody who's ever read a Source magazine, the last page, it said The Last Word. It was like a cartoon character of whoever was on the front cover. You know what I'm saying? That was my man Andre Leroy. He was there, and he's doing some stuff for Marvel now. He did a piece for the upcoming National Hispanic Heritage Month edition of Black Westchester Big Pun piece. You know what I'm saying? Shout, definitely legendary dude.
Oh, that artist guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andre Leroy, A.L. Dre. Shout out to him. He's doing his thing right now. It was good to see some people. There's some people, you know, you've seen from back in the day. Shout out to the Money Making Mob, Mount Vernon Legends. They got honored with an award. You know what I'm saying? Definitely represented, held up the Black Westchester. Lefty was like, yo, man, I went to all them spots that you had listed. They ain't had none at CVS. They ain't had none here.
Really?
And I was like, yo, he's like, all right, now I got my copy. So
you gave out about 300 yesterday?
Yeah, probably like 300-400, you know, copies that was out there and got rid of. Shout out to Russell Johnson, who's on the check-in. Shout out to my cousin Peter Robinson, who's on the check-in from New York City. As always, you can catch the show on my Facebook page, AJ Woodson. I'm sharing it now, which I should have done already, on the People Before Politics 914 page. You will be able to catch it there. It's on my Twitter page, AJROK. Check it out. You can watch it that way as well. Or you can watch it on the website, www.inthemix, 2 X's, radio, INTHEMIXXRADIO.com, inthemixradio.com. That's the best way to watch it. Twitter, I'm trying to get going, yo. This is the week. This is the week. I'm a little worn out. This is the layout week. This is the week we lay out the Black Westchester, the next issue. I'm doing the layout right now. I might have got 2-3 hours sleep, throughout the weekend. I was all day at the Rappacon yesterday. I actually made myself get a couple hours last night. I've been running all day today. I'm here, and I'll be up all night putting it together so we can go to the printer tomorrow, be ready out by the 30th, Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, so we can beat the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Beat the first, have it out before the first big holiday weekend. I know we're going out to, Damon said we're going out, we'll be in White Plains. Something going on over the weekend, some big thing on Ferris, some big thing they have out there. We're going to be out there, 300-400, you know what I'm saying? We're going to give them out to everybody who's out there, so look for us there. Of course, Big Max is going to handle us in Peekskill. You know what I'm saying? Brooke got us a new show. Noel Brown got us a new show. You know what I'm saying? The lovely Lorraine's going to run me through Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? We're going to hit Yonkers heavy like we always do. Of course, I'm Mount Vernon, so Mount Vernon always going to be. The library moved almost 300 copies, too.
In Mount Vernon?
The Mount Vernon Library, I dropped off 100 stack. They called me and said they needed some more. And she said they ran out of those, too.
They ran out on Nepperhan Community Center, too.
Yeah, but I had only put, 20. I didn't put like a stack like that. Like, I didn't put a stack. I didn't know what to do, so I didn't want to put a whole 100 in there, and then I had to come back and pick up 75.
But then you had to go back and put more, see?
So, but it's always better to put more. It's always better to run out than to have to take away. It's always better. It's always better leaving them wanting more. You know what I'm saying? Never overstay your welcome. You know what I'm saying? Or you might not be welcome to stay again. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to leave them wanting more. You know what I'm saying? And everything you do, you know what I'm saying? Then to give them too much and they be like, I had enough of you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with them running out. Shout to Ken Bright. Also want to check in. Trying to run through everybody real quick. So Lorraine, what you been up to this last week since you was on the air with us?
Really, not much.
Okay, nothing exciting, nothing. How's things going with the GoFundMe? I see that hit since the last time we talked. That's out.
The GoFundMe page for Omi Medina, it's people are not really, folks. Go on the page and look for Omi Medina's GoFundMe page, and please just donate $5, $10, $15, $500 if you're rich. Give these folks some money. These they really, if anyone was ever in need, it's Omi Medina and his family. And I tell you, I'm not going to give up until they get, what they need. And right now they need an apartment.
Well, I'm happy to say, since I hollered at the Department of Constituent Services and Disabled on the Move, I've heard from Disabled on the Move from the boss of the lady I spoke with, who wasn't too pleased to find out what had happened and asked me to tell her, and I ran it down to her. And I'm supposed to meet with her and her boss to find out what it is, what's the problem is, what they're doing, maybe, help them find out how they can do something better. You know what I'm saying? I know. Yeah,
how they can work their organization better, or how they can help Omi.
Omi's first, but Omi is only part of the problem. There's probably a lot of Omis out there. You understand? Omi's always first. Mm-hmm. But beyond Omi, no, I don't want them to just do Omi. I want them to get their shit together and be able to handle everybody.
I hear you.
You know
I hear you. But
Omi's first and foremost. That's the story. That's the priority, and that's gonna be it. But I want to know what the problem is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe I shed some light on something else. Now, if it is a problem where they don't got enough of this, enough of that, and they got a problem with some politicians, then I'm going to get with the politicians. But we're going to find out. We're going to continue going up the ladder until somebody tells me what the hell the problem is, that these services are here and they're not able to provide the services that they're supposed to be providing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I find that to be I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
Because it is a problem. It's a big problem.
I mean, I'm new to the situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting in this. I'm just finding out about, disabled on the move and all of that stuff.
And you've done a hell of a job, I tell you that much. I mean, your efforts are greatly appreciated, bro.
Well, that's cool. Like I said, like that Drake record, trophies. I mean, you just do it for your people. There's no awards for this. You know what I'm saying? Trophies. You know what I'm saying? There's no awards for this. You do it for your people. You do. That's what we said. We do it for the people. Most people, when people call us, they have usually at a situation where they can get no answers or the system is giving them the runaround. And usually it's time for us to call some people up and make some noise.
And you know what's sad? That Omi posted today on his Facebook page that his body's deteriorating and so is he, and he just doesn't know how much longer he's got, and he just wants to stick around for his family, and it's the saddest thing. And I know that if these folks and all these agencies and all these elected officials that do have the power to do something about it, if they will only stop and listen and look at his situation, I know they can do something about it. But everybody's busy with election time.
But I mean, and greater than that, like I mean, because I'm a realist, so there may be a situation that comes down that they've waited too long, and then there's not enough time for them to do something. They can't get something done in time. Then
what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
I don't know what their hands is tied. I don't know what their problems is. I don't know why they're not getting certain things done. We don't know how much time Omi has, like literally. So, if that was to happen, his death will never be in vain, because I'm going to harass everybody until that system gets their asses in check. Like, I don't want this to go on and just be forgotten.
I couldn't live with myself if something happened. Like, no. I'm not even thinking that way, because there's gotta be. I tell this guy to have faith, and whether it's blind faith or not, just hold on. I'm
telling you to keep the faith, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
God forbid something happens. Real talk.
Yeah, it's gonna be on everybody's hands. Everybody's hands that we've asked.
He's gonna be the poster boy for me harassing the hell out of you until you get your act together, because we can't have
another Omi.
We can't have any more of these situations like that. Like, God said, "What you do to the least of them, you also do unto me." So. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't what you do to the most wealthy dudes or the people that got it, or you help people that really, you know what I'm saying? They all right. What you do to the least of them, you also do to me. Yeah. So if you turn your back on somebody who's don't got clothes, the Bible say, like, you know what I'm saying? And you turn your back on God. You know what I'm saying? You turn your back on Jesus. You turn your back on somebody who's really starving and really don't have food. And I'm not talking about a drug dealer, drug addict talking about, can I get a few dollars, and they try to get a hit. I'm talking about like a woman with a child and literally ain't got no food. You know what I'm saying? You can just go to the local chicken spot and buy them a 2-piece and some fries or something. You might make that person's day, like that kid's day. Like, you know what I'm saying? That kid got something to eat that day. I mean, it ain't got to be $50. You know what I'm saying? It could be something small. The local supermarket is right across the street. You go in there and get them a couple of pot pies and some eggs and some butter and some bread and some other, $10, $20 worth of stuff to fill a bag if you get the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? That they can make stretch. You know what I'm saying? Some pancake mix. That goes far.
And and we do that for Omi. We do that for Omi as well, because they're having every little bit of money that they have coming in, they're using it to pay the rent. So I mean, he's had a overall tough situation. Period.
At a place that's not handicap accessible and
that he can't even crawl down the stairs now.
It's literally killing him every time he goes up and down the stairs.
Yep. So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about and you want to know what we're talking about, you can go to my page, Latino Empowerment, and you'll see the story about Omi and his GoFundMe page. I mean, go ahead, go take a look at it, and I'm sure AJ's going to post it up on his page as well.
Absolutely. I'm looking to do that right now. Hold on.
There you go.
I'm trying to pulling up your page right now. Put the radio show on there and everything. So we got a couple of people coming through today. I'm not sure if we have anybody in the first half an hour or so, but then we're having a second visit from Mr. Michael Khader, who is running for
City Council President in the city of Yonkers.
He's coming through, and then we have Virginia Perez, county legislator of the 17th district. She's coming through, and we're getting a visit from Mr. Wilson
Terero.
There you go. That's it. And he's running for what?
2nd District City Council.
Okay, there you go. He's coming through.
I hope they all come through because I haven't heard from none of them today.
Aha. So we might just be listening to me and you.
We could do a duet.
Just kicking it for the day, like just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? I have to start calling people like, oh, yo, Hector, what you doing? You know, no. But that's what it is, though, right now. It's people before politics, and that's what it's all about.
Wait. Well, there you go. There goes one. Okay. This is Mike Khader.
Okay, come on in. Come on in. Our first guest has arrived a few minutes early. Oh, shout out to my partner, Damon Jones. He's not here today. He's still on brief hiatus. Who knows? He might pop up or not. I don't know. Okay. No, the other side, and knock on the thing for Cruz. They're all for sale, whatever they want. So, okay, we're working a couple of things out. Got people in the lobby. Anyway, I forgot where I was. I'm sharing this thing. Couple of stories we had. I told you about Rappacon. What else happened this week? Virginia Perez, Mike Khader cut a ribbon for a bus stop in White Plains. This was a good story. In White Plains, 200 White Plains youth to get haircuts thanks to the White Plains My Brother's Keeper initiative. The White Plains My Brother's Keeper initiative is partnering with the area barbershops to offer 200 White Plains young income youth a free back to school haircut. I don't know where you go. I don't know who you talk to. I'm looking that up now. The barbershops that are participating is D. Cash Barbershop, 58 Lake Street, Kenson Barbershop, 47 Mamaroneck Avenue, Irwin Barbershop, 255 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive Boulevard, Janice Lee, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Barbershop, 96 East Post Road, and Hair on Lexington, 201 South Lexington Avenue, all in White Plains. These are barbershops participating in the program. Haircuts will be provided Monday, August 28th, that's tomorrow, through Saturday, September 2nd. Haircuts available to elementary and middle school age youth. Again, thanks to the White Plains My Brother's Keeper initiative and the area barbershops that are participating, 200 White Plains youth will get a free back to school haircut.
Oh, that's so cool.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of
news.
They
go in there looking fresh.
That's the kind of news you get from Black Westchester. You know what I'm saying? You can't get that anywhere else. Even if it is local news, you still can't find it there.
That's right.
That's right. Everything local. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I just got that. Okay.
I just want to run this week out because the paper's coming back out. The paper will be out early next week. And people keep asking me, where can I find it? So I'm going to go through this list real quick. Thanks to the kindness of Joe Parisi and the Mount Vernon Inquirer, you can now find Black Westchester on the bottom rack of all Mount Vernon Inquirer stands, like the post office on South First, CVS on Sanford Boulevard and Fulton Avenue, CVS in Fleetwood, the Fleetwood Diner, Columbus Diner. Also on Mount Vernon, you can get a copy at Mangoville Meat Mart on 4th Ave, Cupcake Cutie on South 6th Avenue, City Hall downstairs table, Famous Barbershop on 5th, Hair Sensational Barbershop on 3rd Street and 2nd Avenue, Food Town, Rite Aid, Friendship Worship Center, all the area churches, Mount Vernon Public Library, of course, both entrances, Mega Mart Supermarket on 3rd Street, Phil's Meat Market on 4th Ave, Digi Press on 1st Street, Just Jerk on 3rd Street, Steam House Restaurant, and Steam House Express, Westchester Community College, Mount Vernon Extension. That's Mount Vernon, Yonkers. Get your copies at the YMCA, the YWCA, Nepperhan Community Center. Shop right on Riverdale, Juice for Life, D Block Car Wash, Riverfront Library, in the Mix Radio Studio outside. Various other bodegas like on Palisade Avenue and North Broadway, the Mini Mart on 43 School Street, and also you could always catch Hector Santiago, the People's Mayor, in Getty Square. He'll always have a stack. Just ask him for a copy. Greenberg White Plains people, pick up your copy at Slater Center, Urban League, Theodore Young Community Center, Greenberg Town Hall, White Plains Public Library, the HSBC Bank, which you know about, located on Tarrytown Road, the Westchester County Board of Elections Office, the Mount Hope AME Zion Church, Calvary Baptist Church, Union Baptist Church, few local barbershops, New Rochelle Public Library, Mangoville on 30, Mangoville Bar and Grill, Restaurant Bar and Grill on North Avenue, Macadocious Barbershop on Webster, Brothers Barbershop on North Ave, D Chef Restaurant on Webster Ave, Sugar Plums on North Ave, DT, mics are still on over there, DP Public Printing and Graphics on 3rd Church Street, St. Catherine AME Zion, Bethesda Baptist Church, Shiloh Baptist Church, and the lobby of Carrington Hubs all on Lincoln Avenue. And other locations in Westchester, Tamika Rose Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street in Elmsford. Of course, you got Peekskill City Hall, the Hummingbird, and Cortland. And if you want to carry copies of Black Westchester in your business, your store, you want stacks to give out at your event, email us at blackwestchester@gmail.com. Want to thank all of y'all who supported us, who contributed, who helped distribute, who advertised past, present, and future. Be interested in subscribing to BW, have it mailed out. Give us about a month or so. We're working out the details. And if you want to advertise with BW at gmail.com. So there's a page on Black Westchester that says, Black Westchester, where can I get a copy? List of locations carrying BW. You'll have all the locations I just read, and it will always be updated. And that's that. So, Lorraine, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes. Today we have with us Michael Khader, who's running for City Council President in Yonkers. And I also want to say that you're running as a Democrat against a Republican, right? But you also have a primary coming up, right?
That is correct. Hello, AJ. Good to be back.
Hey. Put the mic up in front of you. There you go, right there.
Good? We're good?
Yeah, there you go.
How you doing, AJ? Good to be back. I made a promise I would be.
Okay. Because what happened? We got cut off before or something? Or did you get cut short or something? What was it?
No, actually,
No. He did good, but we had such a good time that he said he was going to come back.
Oh, okay. Real quick, shout to John R. Jones, Wilfred Dennis, said what's up. And Damon is on hiatus, Wilfred. I don't see him on the shows anymore. He's still part of the show, very big part of the show. He just took a little break. He's here now and then, but have no fear. Shout to Old School Mitchell, Anthony Old School Mitchell, and back to Mike. Sorry.
Thanks, AJ.
Hey, little man.
This is my son, Marone.
All right.
We're making the campaign a family affair.
Okay. Like I said, just pull it to you so we can. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we can hear everything. Yeah.
We're making the campaign a family affair. I took him today to meet to Harriet and Riverdale.
Okay.
To the Snug program.
Okay.
Shout
out to Snug. Yes.
Snug. Great program.
Yes.
We got to stop the violence down in Southwest.
Absolutely.
It's
well,
bad.
I mean, in all the communities in Westchester, because we got to do that in Mount Vernon, too. Senseless gun violence, and we just got to get all that, yeah.
But he's talking about where he's running.
No, I'm just saying we got to stop the violence. Stop the violence everywhere. Like, I'm agreeing with you. We got a violence problem. We got a sense.
I think you and I agree more than we disagree. No.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I'm sure we got to check the sports teams. I probably don't like your teams, and you probably don't like my teams. But no, I was just playing. No.
I actually did my fantasy draft yesterday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. You know, and I was the last pick, so we had to do the snake round. So I wasn't too sure. You know, who was the first? Who would be my first pick?
I didn't do fantasy because we're doing a little blackout on the NFL this year because Kaepernick ain't got no job. So we're blacking out. We're blacking out. See, the whole thing is they say a group of people that's important to them are offended by Kaepernick. Not understanding a group of people, us, we're the ones that watch the games, go to the games, and buy the jerseys.
You're the consumer.
So we're going to stop until Kaepernick gets a job. And if he don't get a job, we won't be watching the football. We won't watch this whole year. We won't buy no jerseys. We won't buy anything, no NFL paraphernalia, no nothing. Until that man gets a job.
You know, I know I was, I always try to follow, and he was going to try to get something with
Kaboom!
Miami.
Guess who stepped up in the room?
Hey, what's up?
So,
What's going on, David? Good to see you again.
Shout out to Max and Wilfred Dennis. Just like I said, he's still part of the show, and he may pop up anytime, and here he is.
You said it today. He did say on the way here.
Yeah. What up?
You did say he was going to pop up.
I know there was a couple of teams looking at him, and
Talking about Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah, and I think that the owners of these companies, they got to stand up for their convictions, and they can't succumb to pressure.
I mean, Mike Vick got how many teams after he got out? I know he got the Jets. He got the Eagles. How many teams did he? He got 2 or 3 teams. After he got out, you know what I'm saying? After they crucified him and everything.
And I think did he get a max contract and made the Pro Bowl, something like that?
Something. And
see, what you can't do is pick and choose convictions. Who is the moral authority? And once you decide that, who enforces it?
Right. And Ray Lewis, who's been very critical, now he was acquitted, but he killed somebody. I mean, bottom line.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, okay.
Let's not get in trouble.
Ray Lewis going to want to sue us, and I got to call him out.
All right, so he allegedly killed somebody, but I seen him say he said he did it. He just didn't mean to. So he said that on the air. There's a tape of that somewhere. But he not only is he playing, not only did he play. Went to the Super Bowl. He a commentator now. Like a lot of these cats got passed. Big Ben has been alleged every other summer for having his way with underage girls, and you know what I'm saying. And they just end up not going to trial, and he don't never get nothing happen to him. No suspensions or nothing. All this stuff comes out. Nothing.
The atmosphere across the country. Racism has always been there.
Oh, yeah.
Always been that. Has there been improvements? Absolutely, but I just feel that after 45,
it's all the silent, what they call them, the silent minority, all the people that felt this way, that it was un-PC for them to say it.
It's like almost cool to be ignorant.
I got people that.
My neighbors.
I got people down south that said, they've lived next to these people for 10 years. They've had dinner over their house. They've had cookouts together in the whole nine. It was like, Trump got in office. He don't recognize these people. Like, for real. Like, it's like a new family moved in.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
I mean, and I used to live in Virginia when I was working with the federal government.
Anywhere near Charlottesville?
No, but I've been down to Charlottesville. I would live in Northern Virginia and McLean.
Okay, my sister's in Leesburg.
Oh, all right, so a little out west, about 40
yeah.
minutes. And when I seen those images, it was troubling. But yet, I wasn't surprised because you actually have a Jefferson Davis Highway. You have a lot of Civil War relics still going on.
My sister told me today, talked to her today, she said in Leesburg they still have a lot of those. And that concerns her, even though they found out Charlottesville is 100 miles away, they got those statues where she at. And anywhere those statues are is about, is an area to set it off right now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
the only thing that surprised me was now it comes up, and right now, when you're in Northern Virginia, Native people, they don't consider Northern Virginia the South. You know, Richmond is where they say you in the South.
Right.
You know, so it's
Where's
just,
the Mason-Dixon line? Is it through Virginia? Is it Federal Virginia?
it goes north, you know, the exact location, but it goes east-west.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Where is it?
I'm not
Yeah, no,
familiar.
yeah, I'm trying
But I will,
to. Nobody knows because I asked a few people. Nobody knows where it is. But it's funny because Virginia, there is a part that doesn't consider itself the South. And you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they're close to D.C. They don't consider themselves the South at all. And like you said, Richmond down, yeah.
that's the South.
Yeah.
But you know, it's troubling times, and how do you explain these things to your children?
Mm.
You know, when you see pitchforks and torches, you know, in 2017.
Well, black folks have been having that talk with their children since we've been freed. I mean, the conversation has been embedded in our family culture. For our children and our husbands, when we go out, to have to protect themselves and act in a certain way so they won't, you know, in the 60s, 70s, it was disappearing, and next thing you know, you was lynched by a lynch mob, or now it's police brutality and unjust killings of black men. So, you know, as a black male, you know, we have to have to have that talk, you know, with our children, and, you know, male or females. I mean, I really think what we saw at that rally is not surprising. You know,
Unfortunately.
you know, it's not surprising that, you know, we had a black man at the highest level of office in the country, and they still called him nigger on Twitter. You know, and so for us to be surprised that this is happening, you know, I mean, I'm really not surprised, and we're still in denial. I mean, you know, when I came in, y'all was talking about Colin Kaepernick, right? Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that the national anthem is pro-slavery. That's the truth. I mean, that's the conversation that we're not having around this whole issue. That and the author was a slave owner, right? And he wrote about slaves going into their graves because the slaves, to be free, sided with the British, right? Just for freedom, you know, just to get out of slavery. So the verse that they don't play is when he wanted slaves to go in their graves because they sided with the British to actually be free, and he was a slave owner. And I say this, you know, just being honest, they will never ask a self-respecting Jewish person to stand to a song that praises the Holocaust. They will never do that. They will never ask a Jewish person to do that. So why should you have a black man or a black woman stand to a song and put your hand on your heart to a song that wishes black people at that time and your ancestors to be dead? And that's pro-slavery. So I think it's a lot of hypocrisy that's going on. And it's a lot of false history that is going on, and that we're not having that conversation. And to see Ray Lewis and all these other black men that at any given day they could be shot or killed by police because of their color, not because of who they are, being a football person.
There was a Baltimore native. His name was a professor. His name is D. Watkins, and he wrote a book. Basically, the professor wrote F the national anthem, and in the book he says some may object to the anthem because Francis Scott Key sang for freedom while enslaving blacks. His hatred even bled into the lyrics and the elongated version of the Star-Spangled Banner that you will not hear at sporting events. The third stanza reads, "No refuge could save the hurling and the slave, from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. That line was basically a shot at slaves who agreed to fight with the British in exchange for freedom. Who wouldn't want freedom? And how could he not understand them opting out for a better life when his song is about singing about freedom? So that's what the professor wrote, and it's in the story we got. You can see the whole third stanza in our story, the Forgotten Verses of the Star Spangled Banner.
Well, not only that, I mean, for the owners, whether it's fake news or not, I'm still not sure.
About the money they took for him?
No, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh no, that's all over the place.
Right. So I mean, for him to say that, man.
What did he say?
Anybody that doesn't stand up, they won't have a job on the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, that's un-American. See now
do they all stand up?
Probably so.
The season didn't start yet.
Well, and we'll see.
And he said anybody that don't stand up this season will find themselves looking for a job.
We'll see. I mean, one thing, they don't have to worry about me ever watching the NFL again. Ever in my lifetime. Even if Colin Kaepernick is signed, I'm not watching the NFL until they stop the national anthem. Because now that the truth is out and we're still not having a real conversation, because black suffering is the only suffering that people don't care about. I was telling AJ earlier.
I want to read this one.
It was Jay-Z's song, the OJ story, right? When he said about Jews having money in real estate in his song. The ADL, called himself disciplining or calling Jay-Z out on it, and Jay-Z basically said, look, he said he had stereotypes of all through the video.
Black people, other people.
Of black people, of other people. He had stereotypes all through the video. It was stereotypes. The ADL just picked out their stereotype.
What does ADL stand for?
Anti-Defamation League.
They only picked out their stereotype.
So it's okay to hate as long as you don't
hate
them. Don't hate the Jews, but you can hate everybody else.
It's okay to have stereotypes about black people. It's okay to have stereotypes about white people. It's okay to have stereotypes about this person. But don't have no stereotypes about us. So what Jay-Z said was very powerful. He says, I'm not even going to entertain their complaint because they didn't recognize the other stereotypes. You understand?
Yeah.
They didn't recognize. How you just gonna pick out your stereotype and call me on it when the song was filled with stereotypes?
I want to. This is another thing we talked about this before, and this is what's been really overlooked. The New York, according to NJ.com, the New Jersey Army, National Guards, and the Department of Defense paid the Jets $377,000 from 2011 to 2014 for salutes and advertising. For them to stand, because before I forgot what year it is, the players were never required to. They were in a locker room when the Star Spangled Banner was sold. They came out afterwards. Like they wasn't even required to come out until the government started paying for Army recruitment and everything. All of this started paying them to show them, saluting or whatever to build up patriotism. The government paid, what I'm saying? Like, so we're on a bigger issue than the even thing we're talking about. They got paid for that. You know what I'm saying? And the players didn't. The teams got paid for that. And then, they just talked about one thing, and it was according to the Defense Department played 14 teams, $5.4 million over those 4 years for patriotic displays. You know what I'm saying? So before that year, there was no, and I'm not talking about like back in the days. I'm like, they start paying them 2011. So before 2000 something, the players didn't come out during the national anthem. They were in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't even a requirement. You know what I'm saying? And now after they're being paid for it, now they're making their players do it, and now he's taking a stance, and that's the bigger problem right there too.
What do you say to the veteran that wrote a letter to the commissioner and said that he went to he went to war to fight for that flag, and a lot of bodies came back draped over the flag, so that the NFL and some of the players in the NFL can basically slap him in the face with that.
I give them Kaepernick's words. That when Donald Trump and them said in August 2016, August 28th, matter of fact, August 29th, when he said that Donald Trump and them came out and said he was disrespecting veterans, he said, I'm not disrespecting veterans. I'm standing up to veterans like Kenneth Chamberlain, who fought for this country and got killed by the police.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? No, but I'm just saying, like, he's fighting for, he's not disrespecting veterans, and he named like 3 or 4 more veterans who have been killed.
Well, as a veteran myself, United States Marine Corps, that statement is full of shit.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Because black people throughout history of the armed forces has been treated as second-class citizens. We have fought for this country in other countries,
in every war,
in other countries, to come back and be discriminated against, and come back and be hung from trees, not allowed to have mortgages because of our color of our skin or where we live.
Not allowed to vote.
So the whole thing is that's full of shit. We went, just like Ali said, he wasn't going to Vietnam because the Viet Cong never called him nigger. He's being called nigger here in the United States of America. And when you want to talk about Kenneth Chamberlain Sr., he was called nigger by police that had American flags on their uniforms. And then he was shot and killed. So for any veterans to say that Colin Kaepernick is being anti-veteran is ridiculous, and especially if it's a black veteran, he lost his goddamn mind. But the whole thing is we allow the narrative to get twisted to the point that we lose focus on reality, and I really think we still want to not admit that racism is in the DNA of American history, and racism is American culture, and we try to do things to take people's minds off it. Just recently, the Sergeant Benevolent Association put out a video talking about blue racism. What the hell is that? Blue racism? No, the racism is against black people in the NYPD. And even New York City police officers understand that. So as I said in my piece, the black elephant of racism that's in the room, now the NYPD is trying to turn it blue, saying that people are being racist against the blue uniform. The blue uniform historically have oppressed black people through the civil rights era, through the black power era, and even now through unjust killings of black men. And the police department was created on enforcing the slave codes and the black codes to hunt down and even kill free black slaves or runaway slaves. So, we need to have a real discussion of American history. Black suffering is a part of American history, and that's something that I think nobody's ready to talk about.
Here's something I want to show real quick.
Another hand for bringing us all together. And so my name is Corey Buguese. I'm the retired deputy inspector from the NYPD. Actually was commanding officer of the 67th precinct here in East Flatbush. And I'm also the author of Once a Cop, The Street, the Law, Two Worlds, One Man, a book that just came out a year ago. So as I look through my phone, it says March 3rd, 1931, Congress passed a resolution for us to sing the national anthem, made it officially the song of the United States. And as I scrolled down a little more, I noticed that black people couldn't vote in 1931. So let's just be very, very clear on this United States Constitution and its national anthem. When the Constitution was made, it didn't include us. So we don't. I'm not talking about law enforcement. I'm talking about black people. We don't care about no national anthem. We don't care nothing about no constitution because it did not include us.
I just want to show that little clip real quick.
And that was our man Corey Buguese, friend of the show, my brother, my traveling brother in fighting the power.
No doubt. But if I remember, I think you had a few words to say too.
I'm never lost the words, unfortunately.
So next up we have Damon Jones, the New York representative for Black Law Enforcement of America. Good morning. My name is Damon K. Jones. I'm the New York representative of Blacks in Law Enforcement of America. And I stand here with other black officers and officers of color in support of Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick took a knee because America wasn't standing up. Right. Colin Kaepernick recognized the racism, the sexism, the cronyism that's in law enforcement. See, black people in America, we really don't know what true justice is when our families are killed and brutalized by law enforcement. And as black law enforcement, we're 4 degrees of separation from the victims. Either we know the victim, we know somebody that knows the victim. The victim is a family member, and then many times in the state of New York, black law enforcement is the victim. See, we have to understand, since 1940, 27 black cops have been shot at, or killed by their white counterpart, and it has never happened in the reverse. Never has happened in the reverse. Governor Patterson issued a police-on-police shooting task force. And what was the finding from the task force? That racial bias, conscious or unconscious, plays a role in a police officer to shoot a victim. So we wonder why these issues are continuing, because nobody is addressing it. Now Colin Kaepernick brought this issue to the world. Everybody's talking about it. When Colin Kaepernick posts the history of law enforcement in relation to black people, yes, it started from the slave trades. It started from enforcing the black codes and the slave codes. And as our brother councilman said, the DNA of racism is embedded in what we see in law enforcement. Stop, question, and frisk started from the patrollers questioning the slaves when they traveled from plantation to plantation. But with them, they ended up being hung. In 2017, they get arrested, and we have mass incarceration. So we stand here as black law enforcement and good law enforcement in support of Colin Kaepernick, and we are outraged that the NFL had the audacity to bring Michael Vick to try to defend someone who's been to jail. He's going to defend the integrity of law enforcement and the NFL. He's not qualified. He's not qualified to talk to us about it when he's a criminal. So we're going to say again, we support Colin Kaepernick, and I will not be watching any NFL, and I will not be buying products from any of the sponsorship this year or next year or ever. Thank you very much.
Or ever. and I or ever. It won't be, and I'm not even, if I go to a restaurant and the NFL is playing, I'm leaving. Simple as that. I can spend my money somewhere else.
Seems like Lorraine got a fan, Charlie Cahill. Cahill.
Charlie.
Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine. You look great.
After all that talk, you said, "You look great, Lorraine."
Hi, Charlie. Thank you.
Shout out to Max. Max is tuned in. Maxwell.
Max said, "I second that."
Yeah, he did. Eddie Ortiz. Eddie
Oh,
Ortiz.
that's my administrator, Eddie Ortiz.
Oh, they wrote the letter.
Yeah,
I'm like, he
yeah,
wrote
yeah.
something for Black West. I'm like, I just seen that name today. And everybody else I mentioned so far. So, we got give him a couple of minutes. We've gone on everything other than. We can get back to Mike real quick. Mike was like,
Thanks, AJ.
Mike was like, whoa, I didn't know it was gonna be like this.
No.
Well, he got a lesson today, though.
Hold on, please stop. No,
And your son's not bothering us. It's cool.
Yeah.
A preacher said once. He said, if a child cries, and while the preacher's preaching, and the preacher sends the child out, that preacher need to leave the room too. That preacher shouldn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't. That shouldn't stop his sermon. You know what I'm saying? So he's not. He's
appreciate
good.
that, AJ. And you'll always see. I have 3 kids. One, and I always try to bring one or two.
Show your
around.
father. Show your family man. You know.
I try to.
We don't get to see that side of the radio as much. You know.
No,
Shows your patience. Maybe that'll help in politics.
well, you gotta have thick skin for politics. But when you're doing it for the right reasons, all the turmoil and all the silly season stuff, as Lorraine would say,
Silly season, absolutely.
You brush it off. You brush it off, and you stay focused. You never let the opponent or anyone there distract you from the issues.
Right. Absolutely.
If you didn't know, we got an independence primary on September 12th.
Okay,
You have a primary? Who's primary?
The Republican Liam McLaughlin created.
Really?
For the independent one?
Yeah, he created an OTB.
Now explain that. What is an OTB?
Okay, an OTB.
That's
is-
off-track betting or something.
Yeah,
right.
Come on, kryptonite.
Or for some other people working off the books. That's what that OTB mean to them.
It stands for an opportunity to ballot.
Okay.
So, what the election law allows is when a political party designates you as the nominee, they also give a time frame for any other person to go get signatures to get on the ballot. So that's what opportunity to ballot is. Liam was able to collect the signatures, and now on September 12th, any registered independent party member, they'll go to the booth. They'll see my name, Mike Khader, as the endorsed candidate, and then if anyone, they have to write in my opponent's name.
Okay. So that's going to be what? September 12th as well?
September 12th.
So with you, they pulled the lever. With him, they have to write it in?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, and we're looking good. We got the momentum. We got the issues. We're looking at the biggest line, the Party of Inclusion, Democratic Party. I do not have a Democratic Party, and I know a lot of my friends are in a Democratic primary, and that's important for them.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone else has a Democratic primary, and those that are endorsed by the Independence Party don't have an Independence primary. You don't have a Democratic primary, but you're the only one that get into a Independence primary. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and but we're out there, we're canvassing, we're making the phone calls, and we feel good about it. We feel good about it. We're going to go into November with 4 or 5 lines, with momentum, with the issues.
So what other lines do you have?
Well, we're going to have obviously Democratic line, Independence line, Working Families line, Women's Equality line.
Wow.
Yeah, and perhaps the Green line.
Okay.
My opponent did another OTB and created a Green Party primary also. The Green Party.
So you got a primary
You
for
got
that
2
too?
primaries that day.
Wow, that's okay. We all learned something. Now you know what you can do if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone could go do it. I mean, they could go to the ballot and write your name in. That's so when you go there are no names. You fill in. It's like fill in the blank. But you know what? We welcome the challenge. We accept the challenge, and we look forward to being victorious.
So either way, win or lose this primary, you still in it till November. I mean, the primary don't knock you out.
I'm not going away. I'm not going away.
You
This
still
is a
got,
marathon.
most importantly, you got the Democratic. The bigger one of the more.
That is correct, AJ. We're going all over. We're going all over the city. We're listening. We're hearing. We feel we're on the right side of the issues. Feel right on the side of the issues. People are frustrated. They're looking for change. They don't want the status quo. They're looking for quality education. Improvement on quality of life. You know, we were talking about the violence, and not just in Yonkers and other cities as well.
Lauren says hi.
Hey, Lulu. She couldn't make
Robbie
it
wants
either.
to know what's the women's equality line. Wasn't that the governor created that?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, he was instrumental. Let me phrase it that way. He
I
was
thought it was a
instrumental.
reform party that he created.
No, the governor.
The governor.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
thinking Astorino. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Astorino created or was behind the
Reform
reform line.
Party.
But from what I understand, he lost control of that.
Yeah, in the
Who?
party. Astorino.
Yeah, man. Curtis Lewa took it over.
Yeah.
And
And they ain't messing with him. He know karate.
and he
He's
endorsed-
also a big racist.
and he also
Never mess around with that wears a beret, man.
and then he went as far as to endorse the Democratic frontrunner, Lattimore.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy too.
Why are you calling him a front runner?
He is the frontrunner.
What about Ken?
I love Ken. That doesn't not mean that he's not the frontrunner though.
Listen, I was sitting with some people before I came here, and Ken has to start really campaigning. I mean, they feel he's not campaigning. They feel he's saving face. He's running, but he's saving face. You know, Lattimore has been endorsed by 5 parties right now.
Holy
Right.
cow. So
Right.
have you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Lattimore has been endorsed by 5 parties. So, it's gonna be hard to it's really gonna be hard to beat Lattimore at this point. You know, I mean, I wish if Lattimore does win, that Ken will take the deputy county exec position.
You think he'll get offered it?
I mean, it would be the right thing to do. It would be the smart thing to do. You know, it would definitely be the smart thing to do. You know, if Lattimore wins, to give it to Ken, and vice versa. But you know, from what people are saying on the street, is that they don't think Ken is really pushing, you know, as hard as he should. I mean, we're 2 weeks we're 2 weeks away, and it's really you really hear nothing. You know,
Lattimore has the same 5 lines I think you have: Democratic, Working Families, Independents, Women's Equality, and Reform parties.
Yeah, I do not have the reform line.
Oh,
He's
you don't
got
have
the
Reform.
Green Party.
You got Green. That's what
I
you're
got
different.
an OTB,
On the
green
green, okay.
climber. So going into November, I will have 5 lines. If we're victorious.
Okay.
So we're feeling good. Change is good. AJ, change is good.
Interesting. Any questions, Lorraine?
No.
No. You always got something to say. Nothing to- Any questions there, Mr. Jones?
huh?
Any questions?
Nah, man.
I'm trying to get some help on the questions here. Like, it's like, yo. So anything? So how's it been? You since the last time you've been here, you've been you're making the rounds. You've been.
Well, yeah. Right now, when we were here, maybe 2 months ago, we're continuing to lock up.
You weren't even on the ballot at that time, right? Like you still were doing signatures or something. Yes. Yeah. You have there for they wait a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, we were here, I believe it was before the petition season, so we went through that whole process of signatures and certifications. We went through endorsements. I got.
Keep going. Is she by herself or
She got Wilson with her.
Okay, so then you got to wait.
What unions have endorsed you?
Well, pretty much I got Central Labor Body, AFL-CIO, got Building and Trades, I got Yonkers Federation of Teachers, I got CSCA.
Holy
I
cow.
got Transit Workers 100. We're working on Local 3 electricians. We're working on communication. We're creating a movement
Holy
that
cow.
my opponent was not prepared for. This has been an election that they're saying no one anticipated. He's not going to outwork me, AJ. I'm all over. I'm everywhere, and I'm listening.
Well, I've seen your signs everywhere.
Well, that's part. Everyone could tell you, signs don't win elections. But
Signs don't vote. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
signs don't win.
Earlier,
But it's almost like a psychological. You like, oh, there goes my sign, so I got support in this neighborhood.
Right.
But it's funny that my opponent, almost 20 years and Yonkers politics is investing so much time, energy, and signs. And to me, that's a sign of weakness. No pun intended. We got the momentum. We're going to go into September 12th minor primaries, and I look forward to a clean sweep in November. We just can't take it for granted. We can't assume we got this. I've been talking to people, and they say, "You got this, Mike. You got this." I was like, "Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear it, because here's what it trickles down. Then you know what? He's gonna win anyway. My vote doesn't matter." People don't realize every vote
Counts.
matters. Everyone does.
In 2014, we had a guest on the show running for Mount Vernon City Court judge. He came in 2 weeks before the election, and he literally was just slightly down. He won by 40 votes on election day. Actually, he won by 16.
You only win by one.
He won by 16 votes on election day. The ones that counted ended up being like 40. But I mean, like, that's that narrow a margin. You know what I'm saying? Like, any give or take. You know what I'm saying? A couple of people didn't make it. It could have been the other way around. So
it doesn't. People just take it for granted. We're doing voter registration drives. We're getting engagement, and you want to give the residents the feeling that their voice will be heard. The opportunity to be part of the process, the opportunity to have a seat at the table, the opportunity to have that human dignity. And right now, that's just not there, in my observations and my walk in the streets of Yonkers. Right. So hopefully, the winds of change, and we're going to bring some positive vibes in and some real results.
I definitely appreciate you. I'm sorry we talked about the Kaepernick thing half of your time that you was here, though. We have the county legislator coming in and city council candidate coming in. And I want to thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
And thank the little guy,
nice
too.
Nice to meet your son.
Say vote Khader.
Vote Khader.
That's what's up. So I see he was like, "Daddy, you're occupying my daddy's time. Now you can have your daddy back."
That's it.
Yeah.
AJ, really, and again, like I made a promise last time, I will be back again. And we'll talk more. Again, let's keep the dialogue going.
I would love, I don't know if we can get both sides to do it, but after y'all get through the primaries and after, going closer to November, I would love to see if I can get the two of y'all on to,
A debate?
Yes.
I believe that topic came up. I stand ready, willing, and able to debate the issues. You let me know. You know how to find me.
Okay.
Have you debated him yet?
No, we haven't. Right now, most of the debates are concerned about the Democratic primaries.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the independents it's a minor party line.
But it's important.
No, it definitely is important. But AJ, you just let me know. Give me a little heads up. I gladly will accept that in any format, be it a candidate, a question and answer, a town hall.
Okay. We're talking about right here, on the air.
I stand ready to debate the issues.
Okay.
Thank you so much, AJ.
I think the city of Yonkers needs that. Would like to see that.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And let's continue to collaborate.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Lorraine?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Mike. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, brother.
All right. Be safe.
Baba, can you buy me a new pocket?
Appreciate that. You got it. What?
A new pocket.
That was. I'll see everyone, man. Be good.
All right. Now, that was Mike Khader running for Yonkers City Council President. Now we have two more guests on our way in. County Legislator Virginia Perez, who was running for re-election, and City Council Wilson. He's running for City Council Wilson Terero. They will be making their way in.
Is he? He's running.
He's running.
He's not elected.
Right. He's running. I think he was City Council, and now he's running again. Trying to get back to where he make his seat again. I think he lost. So DK.
Go Khader.
Go Khader. All right, there you go. Any how you doing, sir? How you doing? Good to meet you.
How you doing? Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you guys?
Fine.
Hey, how you doing?
You know it's my first time here?
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Well,
Yes,
welcome.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank
Give a
you.
round of applause.
Yeah.
No, you're getting it. What?
You did? Yeah?
There you go.
So I asked people, I said, yo, so I need an ad. She sent me a picture and some words. So I had to try to do my magic. So here's an advanced look at what your ad looks like. Can you see it on the screen?
Oh, very elegant.
Right there, right there, right
Oh,
there.
there it is. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look cool?
I love it.
So I had to put together and try to match the color and everything. So
I love
that's
it.
an advanced look of your
You know,
ad.
he worked really hard on that.
I love it. Thank you. Great job. Great job.
So, Lorraine, introduce everybody.
Okay, we have with us the beautiful, the Honorable Virginia Perez, who's our county legislator of the 17th District in the city of Yonkers. And we also have with us the Honorable Wilson Terero, who is running for city council in the 2nd District. He used, at a point of information, he used to be a city council in the 2nd District, and now Corazon is in it, and he is running to take his seat back.
Take the seat back.
Yeah.
Oh, so when you left and you're coming back, or you're running for re-election?
No, he had the seat. She ran against him. He lost the race.
Oh,
now he
so
wants
now
it.
you-
He's
now-
coming to reclaim it.
Now he's reclaiming that
Yes,
crown.
yes.
Okay, nothing wrong with
Pull
that. bro.
Ernie Davis.
Yeah.
That's
Right? He was very successful, right?
Yeah, one more rope of dope. He came back in and got that next election. Yeah. A couple of quick comments. Eddie Ortiz said, "This is the first time I've tuned in. I'm very impressed. Good work." Lauren Khader said, commenting on the earlier comment, every vote counts. And Robbie Mann said, to Damon's point, I'm a little shocked we haven't seen more of Ken too. So he was agreeing with you.
And Eddie said he's not watching the NFL either.
Oh yeah, he said that earlier. Yeah, he
Who?
said Eddie
Eddie
Ortiz.
Ortiz.
He also
Oh, yeah.
said I'm
That's
not
right.
watching it. He said he's not watching until he gets a position.
No, I'm not watching ever. As long as they playing that national anthem, and now that we are open on what it means, I mean, it's a total insult to black suffering in America to even play the national anthem. So I'm not watching it ever.
Okay. Moving right along. So okay, the obvious question. I mean, who wouldn't want their seat back? But what made you decide to rerun after? What made you decide to throw your hat back in the ring?
It's interesting, 4 years ago when I left the council, I never stopped working in the community. I've been doing, together with the Dominican Cultural Association in Yonkers, a not-for-profit organization, we were creating programs for the youth and after craft, and also for the seniors. Senior programs that we were able to, or the committee was able to apply for funding in the county, and they were rewarded with that funding in order to continue to work with the youth and also with the seniors for the first time. And I never stopped working, again, like I said, in the community. And the reasons are because of the second council district has regressed. And since I live right there in the center of the district, I understand that the needs are there and they have been met. So there's a lot of undone things that I want to go back and make a reality, things that I left behind. And I think that by coming back, I'll be able to get it resolve some of these issues.
Cool. Real quick, since both of y'all are both here, the computer screen's in front of you. You have full access. You want to get it on your social media, tell all your people you're here, any of that kind of stuff. You are welcome to do all that.
Okay.
Yes. So there, hey, welcome to People Before Politics.
How are
And
you?
everybody looking for, we have the BW Spotlight on Virginia coming up in the September issue, which is the National Hispanic Heritage Month edition, which will be out in a couple of days. And so you look for her in there.
I'm super excited.
Yes. So talk about, it's funny because I just sat with you in the diner, so I've asked you every question that I actually want to know. So now I gotta come up and try to act like I don't know the answer to the questions and ask you again.
I try to mix it up a bit because there's always so much,
Right.
We can talk for months on end, and there was still something still left unsaid.
Well, what I wanted to talk, and just so everybody knows, I'm a very big movie buff. So, like a lot of superhero movies and stuff, you see the Avengers, and then you see each individual character's origin story on how they became that person. I didn't want to talk about her county legislator. I wanted her origin story on how she became that person. So now we can talk about policies and procedures and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't talk about any of that in the article.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. So I'm running for my 4th term. It's crazy how fast time goes by. You know what? And there's a 12-year cap. That was the term limit that was put in place before, it was voted in place before I became a county legislator. And it's crazy to think, wow, I'm like halfway through. So time goes by really fast. And I'm very, very humbled and honored and proud to represent my community, and I do it with great joy. Because I love what I do. I took a very, very significant pay cut to do what I do today, and I'm very happy to join forces with Wilson here. It was crazy because back then, way back when, and you know the whole story.
Yeah.
Wilson and I didn't get along. We have very different political ideologies and personalities, and you name it, and we were. But we were, thank God we were able to sit down, bounce off of one another, bounce ideas off of one another, put our political differences aside for the benefit of our community. We came together a couple of years ago, actually. This didn't just happen yesterday or today. A couple of years ago, we came together, and we have been doing so much as a team for our community. We've delivered services for our youth, for our seniors, I can't wait for him to get back into the council, because there's so many things that Wilson still have those connections that our current council person has not been able. For example, when I get calls about complaints, infrastructure improvements, and things of that nature, our current council person cannot do it, or maybe does not know how to do it, or maybe
doesn't understand.
Doesn't understand, and it's not getting done. It just isn't. And I need someone in there that I can form a partnership with, so that we can work together and deliver things for the community. And Wilson is well known, well respected, and he still has those connections in City Hall where he can make a phone call and things are getting done. A lot of people don't understand the different levels of government, and what our job entails really. So people will call me for city issues. I need a council person in there that I can rely on, and vice versa. When people call the council person with county issues, when that office calls mine, things are handled. But it needs to be a two-way street, because we both need to deliver. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. We have so many projects lined up. So we were able to put in a contract through the Dominican Cultural Association of Yonkers that Wilson was the founder of, but it is a non-for-profit, so it's not linked politically at all. It went through the proper bidding process, and the contract was approved by our law department. So I was able to release 5,000. No, it was 15. 15. Yes, I said 5. I'm thinking of the other program I did. $15,000 so that we can go directly into our senior buildings in the district and bring in arts and crafts, classes and other classes involved. And they were so excited. We're bringing it to them, to their home. They don't have to leave their comfort of their own home. They're there with their friends, their neighbors, and they're happy. They're enjoying it. We're going to continue doing that. I was able to release $5,000 for a basketball program as well. I'm working on another program which we're going to do the kickoff very soon. Wilson and I are going to be doing this together. It's a Mommy and Me program for single mothers or grandparents raising children on their own, or expecting young mothers who need a little boost, a little help, some assistance, some advice, putting them together through the proper channels. We're also going to be doing a scholarship program as well. We do the scholarship, the college fairs too. We do it every year. Last year we had over 1,200 attendees. We took a bunch of kids from underprivileged, underserved kids in underprivileged communities like ours. Last year, we took a bus full of 50 kids from our community, from Southwest Yonkers, to the Nickelodeon studios for the Halo Award show. And cool. They had so much fun. They were hanging out with their favorite celebrities that were part of the show. And we did such a great job in making that work, forming that partnership with Nickelodeon Studios. And everything was paid for by Nickelodeon Studios, by the way. We got a phone call a few days ago telling us that they were so proud of the work we did and our kids, that this time they're giving us 4 buses totaling 200 children. Wow. So we're bringing 200 kids from Southwest Yonkers this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have both a comment and a question. Mr. Maxwell said, thank you, Ms. Perez, for attending the WCA, that's Westchester Correction Association meeting. And Tanya Connors said, Ms. Perez, what is your position on the homeless?
My position we do actually in the county, when we do pass our county budget, we pass fiscally sound, responsible bipartisan budgets where we are able to deliver essential services without cutting on essential services with saving taxpayers' dollars. So anyhow, our homelessness, problem. It is a problem, and it is a joint partnership. It is both city and county. What we're doing is we're looking for a new facility in Yonkers, because we have a problem with the facility that we have now down by the waterfront
Which one is that?
for a homeless shelter.
Oh, no, I mean, what's the name? What's the
The
name?
sharing community?
Sharing community.
Yeah.
That's okay. We have a homeless advocate, Laura Case, who comes on the show quite often, and she writes for Black Westchester. She detailed all of that. That's why I know the name. So that's
Exactly,
what I was asking.
because there's been some problems there, because there's been some talks about putting the homeless shelter in the middle of the two funeral homes in South Florida, and that's not going to be the case. We did have meetings with the local business owner, with the funeral directors and owners as well. That's not going to be the case. So, and a lot of the problems that we're having financially in the county is that we are very limited in the things that we can do. We're very limited in things that we can do because, and we're trying to make a dollar out of a penny in every way, in any way possible, because of the burden of unfunded mandates in our county.
And I know one of the things, and either one of y'all can speak to this, with the homeless shelters, and I don't remember which one. I think it was the sharing community, where the showers didn't work for the men or whatever. They couldn't even shower before they left. Like that, that was a big problem. Like, has that been solved, or is that still the same?
That issue at the city level, I think it was closed for a time, because the mayor felt that, or the building department felt that it was not appropriate to have it open the way it was. And yes, they did the repairs, and the conditions are very well now for our homeless population.
That's good to know.
That's in North Broadway.
Right.
That's the one number.
What is your position on the homelessness?
Well, it is an issue. It's true. I know the sharing community cannot hold all the homeless that we have, and it's a need. I think we need to find a way to, I believe that we need to create a board in which we can get more of a insight of what's going on with the homeless in our community, and also a way to be able to educate them and educate ourselves when it comes to health, and a direct line that we be able to get in touch with this community that is in need, and I think that is possible. It can be done. And create more housing for them. I think it's important, and also, which I have in mind, not just educating them when it comes to those issues about health and educating them to be able to take care of themselves, but if we can find a way to teach them about the workforce, about the skills that they can be able to do some good out there, and they don't have to go to a shelter anymore. That can be done. I was doing it at the youngest workforce when I was the business service liaison, and some of them came to me, and I was able to help them. We had some apprenticeship program that they were able to do and learn different skills, and some of them are actually working right now. I think it's something that can be done. We have to unite, like the legislator Perez said. If we have people who has an idea and can complement that idea in partnership with the county, I think we'll be able to resolve some of those issues that are affecting our homeless community.
One of the things that we talked about, and one of the things that we talked about is forming a partnership and a think tank where we can come up with a way with all of the buildings, because Yonkers is constantly growing, evolving. So we were talking about, once Wilson gets back in there, we can come up with a way to do a partnership between city and county where we can come up with some form of workforce housing, where a lot of the homeless population, because they do have skills, they do have education. It's just that things happen to people. So
some people just need to have their skills updated.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just sometimes.
But I help them to do the resume, and you will be surprised how much they know.
Well,
I mean, it's basically a little bit of what we call the OJT and the job training program.
Right.
You just need a little bit of upgrading their skills, and it's true, a little bit of computer or some of the plumbing, stuff like that, and they some of them have been very successful.
And then our veterans, for example, that happens to be, we do have veterans that are homeless out there in the county. I don't know if you saw, there was coverage where the county is providing housing for homeless veterans as well. And also a big issue why we do have such a large homeless population, and a lot of people, I don't know, it's just maybe it's so easy to just overlook, or maybe we just haven't noticed it enough. It's mental health. We have to tackle the mental health problem that we have in our communities, and that we will get also to the root of homelessness as well, because they do need assistance in many ways, but mental health is actually a big component in the problem.
And substance abuse.
Substance abuse, exactly.
So I got to ask you this question, and I have asked every county legislator. We beat up on our friends Lyndon and Ken
Yeah.
about this. What is your position on poverty? And the reason I asked,
Poverty?
yes, and
Okay.
the Community Voices Heard had a rally, a poverty rally, and if you can look at the picture, what you can see,
Where are the pictures?
what you see, the two that row and the other front row, what you don't see, there's a piece of paper in each seat reserved for county legislator, and you see nobody's there. So you know, we've gotten on Ken and Lyndon about
Yeah,
this.
of course.
So
Nobody
you know,
asked me.
yeah. So what's your position on poverty?
They have my contact information, and I first hear this from you.
This
No
was
one
in
contacted me.
2014.
Oh, in 2014?
This is for October 2014. We were there. There was no county legislators there.
Everything that I get invited to, I always give a response whether or not I can attend. I didn't get invited to that. That's just the truth. I didn't get invited
But
to
no,
that.
what's your position on poverty though?
Oh, my position apart. Obviously, it's just like homelessness. It's got to be something that we can do. And also, like for example, we have a lot of parents out there who are working. A lot of immigrant parents who are working 2 and 3 jobs in order to keep food on the table and a roof over their families' heads. So we have to be able to help our community, help the people in our community, to be able just to give them a hand up. Not just a hand. People are not looking for a handout. They're looking for a handout, but there's many ways to do that. We do have, for example, in the county, we do have initiatives where we help minority, especially minority women in our communities, to become entrepreneurs, become their own business owners, whatever business that is. I even explored it myself. Anything, find your passion, and we're there to support you. There are many services available. We do have to go through different venues. Things have to go through the law department, through the budget department, but it will work because we have released funding for different things, for different people, different businesses, different organizations, non-for-profits, to name a few. To name a few things. And so that's one of the cases there. Another thing, there's a direct correlation between education and poverty, or education and crime. So it's just continuing your education, and we do find ways to help everyone to make that possible. We have single parents who find it very hard to go back to school because, again, they have children and they don't have proper childcare, safe childcare, quality, affordable childcare. You know, that's the best way to put it. So this is why, for example, that we do have out there when we voted for, it's a very difficult decision to do. And every time we come around a budget season, no budget is ever perfect. Not our budget at home, not our budget in the government as well. So.
Go ahead.
So, I thought you, so for example, you know, passing budgets, that's what I started off with, passing fiscally responsible bipartisan budgets where we are able to save childcare. We added money to childcare. We added over 3,000 slots. So that way the children that were waiting, actually in the waiting list, are no longer waiting. I have a mother who needed childcare, again, quality, affordable childcare so that she can go back to school. She only pays $1. She couldn't afford it before. I couldn't believe it. She had to show me her paperwork. $1 for quality, affordable childcare. So those are some of the impediments. There are many things that can you know,
$1 can be a lot of money if you have no income.
That's true.
No, seriously. Like,
That's true.
if you have
That's
no
very
income,
true. Absolutely.
$5 could be like $1 million. Like
That is
it might as well
absolutely
be
true.
like $1 million.
That's absolutely true. You know, and then when other people start attacking, well, then, you know, why did you vote this way? Way back then, the county executive was going to raise child care to 35 or 37%, if I remember correctly, and we were able to, you know, negotiate and have a lot of discussion and some arguments and meet somewhere in the middle to 27%. It is a sliding scale. Those who can afford more, rightfully so, they should, because they can afford more. There's an income to prove it. Those who can't, rightfully so, they pay less. Again, bringing it back to that constituent who pays only $1 for her child care. There's another lady who only pays $25 for her child care so that she can go to work. So there's many programs and services available, and we have like a wealth of information. My number is 914-995-2846. Call me, send me emails, and I'm ready to share everything with you.
We have a lot of comments. We talk about homeless. One of the things we always talk about that I learned from Laura Case is the growing number of working homeless, like people that they got the 9 to 5, they just don't have a home. Hector Santiago said, Miss Virginia partnered with me to bring kids to Halo Awards.
Yeah.
These kids need that exposure. Looking forward. And wait, I'm just trying to get to. Tanya Cunningham said they build up the waterfront, but what about the homeless?
That's where I want to get at.
And Eddie Perez is asking Ms. Perez, Eddie Ortiz, is asking Ms. Perez, how is she planning to address the issue of affordable housing and combine that with we speak of, Christine Thomas said, we speak of poverty and we complain of affordable housing, but the rents are too high in the city of Yonkers for anyone. Why is it so out of the question that people are looking elsewhere?
Okay. I
So,
can go first.
affordable housing is
Yeah.
a big thing.
Yes.
You know,
Can I
because
ask?
again, I say to everybody,
Yeah.
I cannot afford and do not qualify for
Mm-hmm.
affordable housing. I don't know who it's affordable for, but I can't afford it.
That's
I
why
can't
the,
even afford it.
the definition is weird, right? Like,
Yeah.
affordable
So
housing.
I don't know
Exactly.
who's this
You don't know,
affordable,
yeah.
and then they have a criteria, at least in Mount Vernon, where if you make a certain amount, like Damon wouldn't qualify. There's one building you and your wife wouldn't qualify
If you
because
go a few dollars
y'all
over
make
the
too
bracket,
much,
yeah.
but y'all can afford it though. So what you would have to make, with the amount that you would have to make to be able to afford it, you're paying like more than half of your salary
Exactly.
in rent, which means you can't afford nothing else.
Exactly.
So either you do that or you're on Section 8. So is it designed for you to be on some kind of Section 8
Yeah.
to get in that building? Because those who can't afford, they're over the maximum that you can make to move in there.
Yeah, let me tell you, my salary is public information, and I only make $49,000 a year. So I have to pay rent, I have to pay all kinds of bills and car payments, so I can't even afford that. So when it comes, before I continue, did you want to?
No, that's okay.
Okay, so then, so to the affordable housing, affordable housing in Yonkers has to continue to do more developments. That's more on a city level only because for affordable housing settlement that happened before I came into the county, that it was made by county executive Andy Spano. That's what we had the whole lawsuit and all of that. Yonkers was not subject to that because Yonkers already had its own affordable housing ordinances. So we are not subjected to that. So on the county level, Yonkers is covering affordable housing. When it comes to us in the county level, the rest of the affordable housing developments and other city developments comes down to city government.
Mount
there was
Vernon
some-
has more than enough too. We have more than
Yeah.
our share.
Exactly. So on
We-
the
we
county
have
level,
more, that's why
exactly.
we-
That's
As
but the
Sereno
whole-
said, we
We
have
don't get
enough. We've met the minimum of affordable housing we needed for Westchester County. Yes, in Yonkers and Mount Vernon, and not the other 43 municipalities. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's supposed to be in every municipality, like a certain.
Let me go back to the question of poverty, and then I'm going to go talk a little bit on the in the affordable housing. When I was in the Yonkers Workforce Development Office, and those young ladies and kids come to me and said, "Terero, I'd like to find a job." I said, "Well, this is what we have here. Is actually $10 an hour, and I think you'll be able to do this job." He says, or she said, "Well, you know what? If I stay home, I'm making $11 or $12 an hour, because Section 8 and all the help that I get from the government is more than what you're offering." And that's one of the things that I see that
That's sad.
at this
Very.
point, I think we should have like $15 an hour at this point in life, because people deserve better, deserve a better job, and also a better quality job, and job that can pay well. So, and that's one of the things that we need to look forward to get into, instead of New York, especially because this is where we live in, and in partnership with the business community. I think they will understand that the salary that they gave you is going to go back to them, because that's what communities do. I mean, you shop in the grocery store, you shop in the supermarket, you get the gas in the gas station, so the money go back to you, and you provide those individuals a better life. So affordable housing, I was very proud to tell you that when I was in the council, I was able to put forward the affordable housing ordinance, which passed 7-0, and that was the only affordable housing we ever had in the city of Yonkers. So that set aside 15% of any new buildings for affordable housing, what we call affordable housing at this point. Because of that, we have more development going on in the city, and we provide more housing. Before we didn't have it, so we didn't have any affordable housing ordinance, and because of that, we didn't have a developer going on in the city, and people who can build quality housing. Now we have more opportunity because of that. And I think is now we're forcing those developers to give us something, because as you know, federal government cannot provide us any more funding, because the city of Yonkers, as well as Mount Vernon, like you said, we have enough affordable housing, the way they call it.
Absolutely.
So and that's giving us more opportunity for people to move in very nice and new new infrastructure in the city.
I want to get
So in the
real
county,
quick-
I mean to cut you off
because-
because I didn't want to forget.
Okay, go ahead.
So in the county, what we're doing, because so it wasn't just supporting me on that state because it's true. So in the county, what we're doing is because Yonkers and Mount Vernon, they're pretty much capped out as far as federal funding goes for affordable housing. What we're doing is what was part of the affordable housing settlement is for municipalities on North Westchester. So we do have our meetings. We do have the Department of Social Services involved and all of that. And they come in and they give us the breakdown, how many units. Well, we complied already. We're good. We're done with the battle with HUD. It took us about, I don't know, 10 or 11.
Wow, a long time.
Yeah, very long. It's going on for years.
Now, you said you're done with the battle with HUD. Is that for every municipality, or that's the county
For
of
every
Westchester?
county.
For county,
Well,
yes.
when you have cities like Mount Vernon and Yonkers that are that have more than their share, you still have communities that don't have their share.
It's to give.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because it was to build 750 affordable housing units.
You have that in Mount Vernon.
No,
I'm just playing. No.
Northern Westchester, because there were not enough residents of us minority, Hispanics, African Americans, or whatnot, in order to diversify a bit, just to
Can
make
I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, sure.
This nation forgets there are poor white people.
True.
Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like, I'm sorry, like, there
Very
are more
true.
poor white
Very
people than
true.
there are poor black people and poor Latino people.
Very
Because there's
true.
way more white people. There are more white people
Majority.
on welfare and all of those systems than they are. But we're the face
But
that
not
they
in
show.
the richest county in the nation.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, there's poor white people. in
There's
Westchester.
poor white people here. There are poor white people in this county.
I mean, there are, but there's not more.
No.
More than minorities.
I'm just saying, nationwide, when they show, there's more
I mean, we only,
white
what,
people in
numbers
this country.
nationwide.
This country.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's be honest,
But
what,
13% or something.
13, 17%
Yeah.
of the population of Westchester County. I mean, we can't be all the poor people.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I want to say something real quick. I want to say something real quick because the name just popped up.
Yeah.
Jeffrey R. Wheeler just joined the
Jeffrey
show.
Wheeler.
Yeah.
Oh man, God bless you, my
And,
brother. God bless you.
Andre Wallace, Linda Dennis, Monty Whitaker from Ports.
I wanted
County
I
in
wanted to ask
Maryland. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask how much money did the county lose in federal funding over this whole HUD fiasco?
CDBG funding?
Yes.
We lost millions of dollars for CDBG funding, community block grant money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That we were not going to get back. Yeah.
What now? When we say millions, was it 2
Millions.
million, 22 million? Like, I mean, you say millions, hundreds of millions. What?
It was a lot of money that sadly we have to say the number somewhere around 25.
Yeah, because I know
somewhere
they
around 25. Yeah.
I know they pulled 7 off the bat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, and then
Yes.
right. At
Yes.
one time they just pulled.
Yes.
See, this is what it shows a little hypocrisy in the county exec, because he didn't have any problems losing that money, fighting what I call
good fight.
a segregated Westchester, but he has problems losing the money, in if he passes the Immigration Act. Because that was one of his excuses, that we will lose a lot of money, a lot of federal funding. Well, fighting to keep average people or people of color out of white communities, he didn't care how much money he lost.
And that's a great argument. That's a good question. And it's a great argument, and only he can answer that question for you.
Right.
Because
Right.
I can't put any words in his mouth. But
Right.
I do know that we're working together, our colleagues. Obviously, at the Democratic Caucus, and we are, and the few Republicans that helped us vote for this bill, we are working on being able to pull in the other vote that we need in order to override the
The
county's.
veto.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
because we do have to the end of the term to present it again, and
Good.
hopefully when we do present it one more time, we can override this veto.
So what do you need 2 more votes or something? Was
Two
it
more
2
votes.
One.
One more.
Oh, because Lyndon or somebody was out of town or something.
Yeah,
right?
he was out of town, so obviously we have Lyndon's
Right.
vote. So we need
Right.
one more Republican.
No.
And we are talking to our colleagues across the aisle, and asking them what are the questions, what are the concerns, what are they comfortable with, what are they comfortable and uncomfortable with the language of the law that we can work on without diluting the law. So, because it needs to be able to do what it is intended to do. It already does. We already comply. It already complies with assistant state laws. It codifies
Yeah.
assistant state law.
Right.
Okay,
Can you because a lot of people are saying, which I disagree, that it's going to turn Westchester into a sanctuary city.
No,
but
not at all.
Right.
No.
But can you explain? And there's really no federal definition of what sanctuary city is. I found reports on that. But,
yeah, I asked everybody who's been on the show, and I could not.
Right.
People, I got
right.
10 different answers.
But can you explain what the bill? Because some people they really just don't know. They think that undocumented is going to have free reign of the county. And can you just explain what the bill is designed to do?
It's insane because a lot of people fear what they don't understand, and all it takes is a little bit of research,
Right.
And then it's again public, and anything and everything we do is up for public consumption. Every piece of law, everywhere we vote, everything, our lives are up for public consumption for that. So the bill is not, and we said it many times, and I'm going to say it again, and I know I'm going to have to say it over and over still. The bill is not turning Westchester County into a sanctuary county. The bill is not intended to protect illegal immigrants who are committing crime, who are breaking the law, and we're here to hide them from the federal government. No. How in the world can people think that we're going to pass a law to protect those who break the law? That doesn't make any sense.
Let me give you one of the biggest arguments, and it's being mentioned here. When you got in Suffolk County, you got a big MS-13 problem. And when you pass a bill like this, Westchester will be a great place for them to come because they don't have to worry about getting caught. Because
that's not true.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm just saying this is what's being
the fear, the concern for
That does not stop them from getting arrested.
Exactly. It does not.
Deported,
exactly.
Right.
It's like the only thing that the law, again, it codifies existing state law. It complies with existing state law. The only thing that we're making clear in this bill is that we are not going to use your tax dollars and our county resources to perform or assist in, federal immigration raids. That's all there is.
No, so not turning local law enforcement into agents of ICE.
Correct.
Right, and that has been the argument. That has been the argument for years with 287G, the law for deportating and using 287C to basically stop, question, and frisk undocumented. That has been the argument that it does not help law enforcement. It hurts law enforcement because the communities, the immigrant communities throughout Westchester, they will not call the police.
Yes.
Because why would I call it? If I'm undocumented, I'm minding my business. I've been here for 10, 15 years. I'm invested in the community, and I'm just undocumented for whatever reason, right? And I see someone get killed, right? I'm not calling the police.
You're afraid.
Because if I do call, they're going to take me, and I'm not trying to get taken. I'm going to go in the house, I'm going to lock my door, and I'm going to let somebody else call the police, or that body lay there till the police find it themselves. We have to understand that, and that's what even they call it the Big City Chiefs or the Chiefs Association of America. They even spoke out against that, and I don't understand how Astorino pulls his commissioner of public safety. If you're a commissioner of public safety, you should already have these reports on your desk saying that when you push back, when you support laws like this, you put people in danger. And it's in reports, and I really don't understand how his own commissioner of public safety doesn't understand that and supports his veto. I mean, someone told the county exec wrong on that.
Well, and I'll tell you too. There are many stories out there. The fear that the immigrant community feels and lives is very real, and it's very prominent. It's a very strong fear. And like I said, it when we were in chambers passing that law the other day, is that nobody understands the fears and struggles of an immigrant like another immigrant, and I am an immigrant, and I'm a Latino immigrant, and I will give you two true stories. One of the stories is my own. So. There was one time when I was knocking on doors and getting to know my constituents, and it wasn't all fear. I wasn't even campaigning for re-election. It wasn't all fear. And so I'm knocking on doors, and I hear screaming on the other side of the door, and obviously it's a domestic dispute. And I'm getting ready to call the police, and the woman runs down the stairs, and she's bruised, she's battered, the children came running after her, a little boy and a little girl. The boy was 6, the girl was 5 years old. And she was sitting outside crying. So I sat down and I spoke to her. And I asked her, do you have any family? Do you know anyone here? And no, she was just crying and crying because she had just, her husband, who is a U.S. citizen, brought her and the children. But I believe that the process is that you have a green card, but you have to wait to become a citizen still. Sometime you have to wait some time. Well, he was very abusive, and he will tell her, yeah, you have a green card, but you're not a citizen. So if you call the cops on me, I can send you back. She was from Maroon, Africa. I can send you back, and I'm keeping the kids. And she never reported the abuse until that day when I actually, saw her, when I heard the noise and I saw her. I took that woman and her kids, I put them in my car, and I took them with me. I was not going to let her go back inside that house, and she was terrified to call the cops because she thought what he was saying was true. But I took them with me, took her to my house, and I called the police. I let her know who I was, and I was with her every step of the way. We called the police, and she was able to file a report. Then I helped her get shelter for herself and her kids, and she's doing great. She got a job. She's doing great. She's got her kids with her. It's just, but not everyone has someone out there to walk them through the process. They're afraid. Myself, for example, when I was a kid and I came to this country, we came here legally. But when my parents were going through the process of becoming U.S. citizens, it took them. My parents were working factory jobs. My father worked nights. My mother worked days. And they were each making $7 an hour. And they worked separate shifts so that one parent can always be with the kids. And it took them so long in order to save a couple of $1,000s so that they can pay for the process to become U.S. citizens, and only to have someone steal their savings and tell them. They told me, and I remember I was 10 years old, and I remember my parents were crying because they had no one to report it to, because they told my parents, yes, you have a green card, but you're not on safe ground. You're not on firm ground. So if you call the cops, you're going to get deported and you're going to lose your children. They believed it. This was back in the 80s. They didn't speak the language. They didn't know their rights. They didn't know their rights, and they were afraid, and they cut their losses and lost their money, and it was just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see them go through that, to live through something like that, and it's happening every day to more and more parents out there. The immigrant community, they come here to work. They come here to provide their children with a better quality of life, a better education, a better chance at life, a piece of the American dream. For some people, that just means having a good job, having health care,
I don't want to be accused of not allowing people to express opposing views. So someone named Christine Thomas, I'm not going to read all her comments, but she did say, first she said, how many illegals call the police now? What's the statistic? Another person answered them, the number can't be high. She said, we all know that this is a scare tactic. Astorino is looking to protect the people first. This is what our executives should do. If you don't have anything to be scared of, then why fear calling the police? And the reason I want, before you say that, she's not the only person that thinks this way. You understand what I'm saying? So these things have to be addressed.
The greatest threat to America is sincere ignorance, because if they don't understand, see, that is talking from a barrier of not understanding other ethnic groups and how America is supposed to be the melting pot. I think if you're not a Native American, right?
You're an immigrant.
You are an immigrant, and you have no right to talk about anybody going back to any other country because you don't even belong here. Let's get that straight. The only people that can talk about immigrants and going back is the Native Americans, and they having their share because you got them trying to take Little Rock and everything else going on, and they're still fighting for the little pieces of land that America is giving them. So, but to go back to, it is a public safety issue. Just because you are undocumented and the federal courts ruled this, I'm not saying it's the federal court ruled this, does not strip you from your constitutional rights because you're an undocumented citizen. That's the federal courts. So, and these laws don't even have proper oversight that they say that they will protect from racial profiling. We know racial profiling exists. Let's not think it doesn't exist. But laws like this it makes racial profiling even more legal. That I could pull you over, just because you might look Hispanic, or you might look like you're from the West Indies or any place, and pull you up. But see, the problem is they're not going to pull over any white person. He might be an immigrant from he might just got here from Ireland.
And
but they're not going to pull him over.
We have more European illegal immigrants who have come over here on work visas and student visas.
Right.
And I know a lot of them.
That's right.
And they hide in the city among y'all, and they look white as white, and they running, and they got jobs, and they find a way to get a security number, and they get a job in an apartment, and there's more of them than there are everything else.
But you don't know that immigration doesn't come just from countries like ours.
That's what. But that's the narrative. I remember we went to a press conference with Senator Ball, and they were pushing the 287G. Now it was crazy because he was talking about 9/11, right? Let's keep out terrorists, right, and use 287G. But the pictures that he had up was all Mexican. They were all, we was standing there. We was like, yo, dude, what? Wait a minute. When did Mexicans be a part of 9/11? He's like, what are you talking about? We said, look at the pictures. All your pictures are people like from Ecuador, Mexico, and you're talking about 9/11. You're talking about terrorists.
What they got to worry about is digging the tunnel and attacking from the bottom. Like they're not gonna fly a plane.
But it was like crazy. I mean, we were standing there. And I was with Tony Miranda from the National Hispanic Law Enforcement, and we was dumbfounded, But see, that's the narrative. That's the narrative that they play to put fear in people's heart. They're talking about, Westchester County is going to be run over by MS-13 and gangs and all. Listen, we don't need MS-13. The guns are in the community regardless. The police ain't doing the job keeping illegal guns out of our communities. So, I mean, I was going to say something, but
we're moving on.
But yeah. So, but the whole thing is, we have to. People are really, really misinformed.
But they count on that though.
Yeah, I know that.
They count on the misinformed and misinformed and uninformed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people that just are uninformed, and then there's the misinformed. You know what I'm saying? And they continue the propaganda of misinforming them,
which is more powerful.
Right.
That's all it takes. Almost everyone out there has a smartphone. All you have to do is just Google something very quickly, and just get a little bit of insight, just a bit of information, because knowledge is power. Truly, knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more that you can contribute to your community as well.
Right. Did you post my response to Astorino's video? Because there's a letter from like 20, 30 law enforcement chiefs that I have a link to that video that disagreed with the government, how the government was using ICE. But I was trying to find it so people can see that they're actually, law enforcement officials.
Okay. I'm not going to address this Christina woman anymore, but she's talking about none of y'all came in this country legally. Everybody was an immigrant.
Yes,
when
we
y'all
did.
Came to,
yes,
well,
we
some
did.
people, I'm sorry, but everybody was an immigrant, though.
Well,
nobody was born here, I'm sorry.
Nobody's
family, I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
Well, what is her background?
If
she's not, I hope she's listening to me. Is she Native American?
She's definitely not.
All right, then she's illegal too. All right, and that's simple as that. And she's illegal too. And I could say that. She's sitting here talking about
Robbie
ain't
Mann,
none of y'all coming illegal. Where you from?
I don't always agree with Robbie Mann, but he was like, there was a time when Irish and Italian were not accepted.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
In fact, the term Irish Italian was a slur, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Absolutely.
And then the Irish Italian need not apply. That's what they used to say on the signs.
Absolutely. And now it's the Hispanic and Latinos term. I mean, we all get it. Listen, we all get a turn of being the despised in America, right? We all get a turn to be the scapegoats for racist white people. I got to call it what it is. Lyndon Baines Johnson, he said it. He said, if you could make the poorest white person feel better than the best black people. You could get money out of his pocket all the time. That's the president. That's not Damon, right? That's the president.
What he is quoted for saying that.
Yeah, he's quoted for saying that. I mean, that's real, and that's what Donald Trump is doing. That's what he's doing. That is his tactic. Everybody is to blame for white suffering, except, but we're supposed to lift ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? Right? It's all self-reliance. When it comes to black and Latinos, it's all self-reliance. Y'all it's your fault you don't have a good education, even though your education system is failing. It's our fault, it's our fault, it's our fault. But when it comes to poor white people, it's still our fault. How is it our fault and they're poor? That's not how it works. But that's what they do.
This country is failing.
And that's what they feed on.
You know, a lot of people are saying that immigrants are coming into this country taking jobs from people. I mean,
those jobs they didn't want and they weren't doing.
The jobs that nobody wants to do.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I just want to say one thing. There was in Georgia, and they made a point, and I wish I get black people to do this. All the Mexicans and Hispanics or whatever said we are not going to work on Wednesday.
And they
damn near shut Georgia down.
That's right. Yeah.
People did not know what the hell to do. No yards got cut, no nothing. They shut that one day. They made a point. None of them went to work.
But let me.
Just one day.
But let me.
National
millions
news.
of dollars they lose.
That's right.
Yeah,
but let me.
Money they lost. They never went. They were trying to stop that from ever happening again.
Let me say something. That happened after slavery, because white people didn't know how to build anything, because the black slaves were building all the homes and did all the carpentry. So once.
No, Robbie, they didn't get fired. They all got back to work the next day.
So
they know they did.
No, they didn't get fired.
You can't get fired. They all working the next. They still working.
Right. They didn't get, who they going to get it? Yeah. But that was one of the reasons. And if we be honest with history, Samuel Gumper started the unions because white people wasn't getting the jobs because they were untrained, because they didn't know carpentry, because the black slaves had been building for so many years. The homes and doing the streets for free, landscaping free. When they said, "Oh, we free, we going over here," wasn't nobody left to do it. Then they started hiring the black carpenters. So Samuel Goupers started the unions to try to get white people in and get white. And I mean that's our history, and we should embrace our history, no matter how hard or no matter how rough, no matter how raw it is. But we're living it again. We didn't learn because we're doing it again to the Mexicans. When the president of Mexico said, "Yo, why y'all bitching? Mexicans are doing jobs that your blacks won't do." You goddamn right. And then Al Sharpton's gonna get mad and want to call out, but he's right. I'm not going in no field picking no oranges. That's not happening because that's not me. But if that's what you want to do, and if you want to do that to make a living, by all means, I'm not going to.
Factory jobs for $7 an hour.
Right.
Like
that's right.
Like my parents did.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Working till like this Hispanic lady, she worked to 3 days before she gave birth. 3 days.
Yes.
No disrespect to my daughter's mother. She quit her job 2 weeks. She was pregnant. Her feet was hurting. Now, I mean, I'm no disrespect to put it out there though, but I want to say one last thing to Robbie. He put up a sign, dozens of workers. It was hundreds and thousands of workers. So if a dozen workers they lost their job, there were hundreds and
Robbie,
thousands
stop being
of people.
Misinformed. I
There
told
was
you about
thousands
that.
of people.
Interject real quickly?
I'm giving the last words because we got 4 minutes.
Okay.
So I want to give y'all two about
how
to do your. I do that at every show.
Exactly
I do that at the end of every show.
And for the record,
yes.
I'm in favor of the veto, and I'm not ignorant and I'm not misinformed.
No,
but that'll be for another show. That'll be for another show.
No, that's not.
We got to give them their time. Them time.
But these guys have a primary coming up. They got a primary.
Okay. Yeah, but you threw something out there to make people talk, though. Like,
okay, we'll talk in another show. I wasn't given the opportunity to talk.
What? Last words. Why people should vote for you? How they contact you? All that kind of stuff, and then same with you.
I've been doing my job and then some, actually. Like I mentioned at the beginning, at the opening, I took a very significant pay cut to do what I do today. I do it out of the bottom of my heart. It's a great thank you to my community for being there for my family and I during our greatest time in need. So I've been doing it going on 6 years now, actually. And I'm in a position, the fact that I helped to form a bipartisan coalition, I'm in a position where I'm able to deliver to my community services that a lot of my colleagues haven't been able to deliver, because you can't just stump your feet to the ground and say it's my way or the highway. Government gridlock does not work. It doesn't work for anyone. It doesn't work for our communities. It doesn't work for taxpayers, because nothing will ever get done. So bipartisanship is the way to go in order to make things happen. So I will continue to provide essential services. I will continue to reach across the aisle when the time calls for it. Because I've been accused of being a closet Republican. That is not true. No offense to any Republican.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to join us at any time. We would love to have you.
I've been accused of being a closet Republican. That is not true. I am a Democrat. I am a fiscally conservative Democrat who is there to do the job that the people elected me to do. If I have to put myself in political danger time after time in order to deliver to my community,
right,
then I will do that. And I have full trust in my community to support me in return.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, I have invested a lot of time in Yonkers, 26 years now. I've been working really hard in the community. I will continue to do so. Before I was a council member, during my council time, and before, when I left, I was also working extremely hard in our community. And I do believe that we need more improvement in the Yonkers public schools. We need more funding, but we don't have to go to the taxpayer to get it. I think with partnership with the business community, we were able to get it done. Crime is going up in the second council district specifically. I know citywide is down, but in the second council district, crime is up. I think we can tackle that by providing more foot patrol and police and bicycle. It works when I was in the council, and I work with a Republican mayor and a Democrat mayor, and I deliver to my community. I can also work in a partisan way. I took a big pay cut when I left the Yonkers Workforce Development Office to run for office again once more, and I asked my community for their vote September 12th, and my number is 914-230-9158. That's the campaign number. You can also find me on Facebook, Elect Wilson Terero. And also in my website, www.electwilsonterero.com, and my email address is terero4council@gmail.com. So I hope you all get out and vote. Salgan todos a votar el martes, septiembre 12. Espero que no se ofendan por usar mi español. Gracias.
All right.
That's right, my phone number, 893-8132, 914-893-8132. And for me on Facebook, Legislator Virginia Perez.
As we come to the close of the show,
Beautiful.
we would like to thank all of our guests. Very good show, very entertaining, very good discussion. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of our questions that people had. Thank you, the people that just say very good show. You could be doing anything else right now, but you decided to ride with us. And we greatly appreciate that. This is Black Westchester Presents People Before Politics radio show. Every Sunday, 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. We are off next week for Labor Day weekend, and we will come back on the 10th with the Peekskill Democratic slate and
Liam McLaughlin.
Liam McLaughlin, yes. And Hope Marable. With that, peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.